We are here.
We are live on day one.
We are indeed.
Day 9 already. Wow. And I'm
it's amazing,
especially in deep respect and honor and awe today of the wise one, because this is my main Beregini, who's also here embroidered on my destiny dress. And I connect with her every day. So she's very dear to me and in my life, and also my shamanic painting in the back. It's my main Ellie, the raven.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She's beautiful. I bet you've been waiting and so excited to be getting to her.
Yeah, and excitement is not even the right word for this one. I'm always like in deep respect. It's like really in, like, I bow always in front of her, the wise one, because she has got unlimited wisdom, and I'm in deep respect and honor of her. So, and there's also shamanic movements, shamanic shaping wings, it's called. And that's what we do. We really just on the floor, we bow on the floor. And then do like this. It's like I go in this bird's eye view and observe, and I receive all the wisdom from the ancestors. So it's a deep bowing position, but at the same time looking with the all-seeing eye. Well, that's what she said.
Yes, you noticed the all-seeing eye yesterday.
Yes.
Yes. I didn't see it until you pointed it out, which is interesting. So yeah.
And
takes many eyes to have a look.
And today it's even more strengthened, the all-seeing eye through the raven. So should I say the affirmation? What do you think?
Please. Oh, right. Let's go for it. Let's go for it.
Okay. Affirmation. Like a bird, I see my being from distance with observer eyes, and let myself be filled with wisdom and freedom. The usage is to access to all ancestors' wisdom, and it can eliminate lies or bad energies. From the third circle Nav, which is from the underworld. That's why it's black.
Yeah. So from something that's deeply rooted.
Yes. Deeply rooted, or just very deep, like an ocean, or like the well of all wisdom where the Norns sit at. It has got no ground at all, because this is the weird. It's just an endless field of possibilities.
Yeah. Have her, and I've got her in. I'm just doing the resonance. So I took a picture beforehand. I went for a long walk, so I only just really got home. So.
Well, me and my son have to go out straight away, bang at 4 o'clock, because we've got our painting class.
Oh, yes.
Saturday. And my teacher is actually very kind and postponed it half an hour later, because usually it starts at 4. So, but this is for me now a priority. So then he.
Okay, so it looks
an hour later.
Pinky and golden. Can you see?
Yes.
Pinky and goldy. So quite a lot of gold actually in this today over there. Light gold rather, so more yellow gold than the red gold or the rose gold. But on the top here is more bronzy color. So these are more bronze with more deeper bronze or copper color. So it's very gold. So that's interesting, because to be honest, I'd associate that with the wise one. I'd associate more of blue, but it's interesting that that's coming up, and maybe it's about gold coming from the earth, or gold come up in that aspect. But we'll see what we do once we've done a balance, and see what comes on as we talk, and what comes in.
Well,
Yeah.
speaking of the
But it
copper,
looks
because
like,
I do the weekly rune readings, the Otala rune, which is still valid until tomorrow, it's also copper, and Otala rune is the very last rune of the Elder Foothark, which stands for all accumulated ancestral wisdom. So this is also very aligned with this gold, copper, and now, of course, today is like the wise one, I think. So this is, yeah, it's all very aligned.
Yeah. And we were talking yesterday where I said that in the tree, in the Kabbalistic tree, that the copper is the central pillar, so the one that has the fastest current, so the greatest flow, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to do a balancing. Wait a second. Let's do it for the 30 minutes. There we are. I'll leave it there. So I just put, it's really interesting. So we pulled the alchemy of the page of swords, which is the priestess royal of the sparkling air. Well, air is what the raven is about, up high and in the sky. So that's interesting. So it's the priestess of the royal
air.
Of the sparkling air. It's the alchemy of the page of swords in the old tarot. She looks like she's holding a wand, really, or the world on an orb in her left hand. She's definitely got the star. You probably can't see it very well, but on her throat she's got the star. You'll see it probably better later when I put it in. She's got a face. She's got also a. Let's see if I can get I'm just trying to see if I can get this still enough that you can get the. It's not as clear as it could be. Maybe if I use the book.
I cannot see what she's holding in her hand.
Well, I'm trying to get it to you so you see it. Can you see it now?
I can.
It looks like she's got what looks like a staff, yeah, and she's on that has a ball with some sort of emblem. Let's go this way. A ball with some, yeah, Andrew.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. A ball with some sort of emblem. And then there is a shield, something she's holding in her right hand with a face on it. You can see the star at her throat.
No.
Can you see?
I cannot really see it, but it's good that you mention it. Then I can imagining it like yesterday, the priestess of the earth. She also had a star in her throat.
Yeah. And yeah, because air is always about speaking. So the air sign, their part, and I guess what I'm also, the circle on the top is more masculine, the masculine orientation of the triangle. Can you see it on the top above her?
Yes, like yesterday it was like the womb symbol, the yoni symbol. And
yeah,
today
the other
it goes
way around.
Yeah. It goes up. It turns up triangle. So this is the masculine.
So that's and this and actually, if you when you see the photograph, this is a face, but it looks like a sun, actually, because it's when you look at it, you'll see it's a bit like a Leo, actually. When I think about it, the way it's coming out is almost like a mane of Leo. And she's also got a tree behind her, which is interesting. So her one is practice my thought forming, is really the power to discover, to shape thought through clarity and fine perceptions, attracting life affirming ideas to live with them. I am the very substance of story, the golden thread which all
The
tales
golden thread.
unfold. I'll help you explore your house of thought. Untold rooms are yet to be discovered. I have care of many godly thoughts whose power can heal and help. I bring them to your mind.
And it's a lot of golden colors, like copper golden colors all around her.
Yeah. Yes.
And I feel like yesterday it was the priestess of the earth. So this is like the feminine part. That's why we speak about Mother Earth. The triangle was pointing to the earth down. And this one, she is like the priestess of the air, which stands for like the pure thoughts, like the mind.
Yeah.
Which is perceived as the masculine. Yeah, coming through her.
Yeah.
So this is a nice like add-on, a continuation to yesterday's priestess. Now it's incorporating the different elements. Yesterday earth, today the air.
Air, yes.
And again, this below
but
and above.
Yes, yes.
Mm.
And there's something about having control of it, which is part and parcel of what I'm getting a sense of, because she's holding the fire, which is in her hand. She's holding the fire, which is over there in her hand. So it's kind of like, you'll see it when we do the proper picture. It's a face.
Mm-hmm.
It's like a sun. It's a face with a sun. So she's holding the fire in a level that it's at heart. It's at the level of her heart. So it's almost like she's able to talk from this balanced place, bringing thought down into the balanced place. It feels to me is what that's about. And the pages generally are very light energy. So they're not about really heavy stuff. They're about really lightness of being. Because if you think about how they evolve, you have the page, then you have the knight, and then you have the queen, and then you have the king. And each of them, the page is probably like the teenager or the very young mother. Yeah. And then the knight is, so if you think about as our various stages in our life, that's the energy of that. So it's useful to think about as the very young energy. And then you know, but not, whereas the knights can be, they're not quite a king yet, but or queen yet, so they're like a queen and a king. Whereas the page is still living in that early exploratory kind of phase.
Okay. Yes. Nice.
So she's learning. She's a kind of in learning.
So she's
nice.
A maiden. She's not the wise one yet. Yeah. Yeah, nice.
And when I was doing the deck of cards, doing the deck of cards again, because I put everything back, and seriously, there was one card that was turned in, overturned, and I kind of looked and I thought, is there one card that's not actually all the way through? And it was, guess what, Empress yet again. So that she's really running this whole section, certainly for us. She's been running for 3 days, literally. So she's there no matter what. So there's something very key about this embodiment of that energy of the unification of our masculine and feminine energy.
Yeah. It's coming up again and again.
It seems appropriate for this cycle anyway. Yeah. And I'm guessing, I'm thinking when the three is the product, isn't it? It's normally the product of the marriage between the masculine and feminine. it's the 3. You get the 3 before creation. So before the 4 comes.
Well, we are on day 9 as well. This is the 33. I'm in life
Yes.
number 33. 3 times 3 gives 9. So we are on the sacred 9th day. And that's why I think it's no surprise that the wise one, she incorporates like the raven. It's a very holy bird. Also in Siberian shamanism, we do lots of rituals with her because the raven can travel between all worlds. And it's the shapeshifter par excellence. And we can use the alley of the raven to travel to the death waters, like to the ancestral world, everything but no longer serves us, and use the power to also rise above the death waters and can travel anywhere. The raven is also perceived as the all-seeing bird, obviously, because they can travel to all worlds, and they are like the oldest birds. They can be until 150 years old. The bird, the raven.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know birds can live a very long time because parrots live to about 80 years old. You know, a lot of people have parrots as pets, and they often outlive their owners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're very loyal. They actually stay with a partner all their life, the parrots. Real lovebirds.
Yeah.
We could have embroidered the parrots yesterday like as the 2 lovebirds. They're very, very loyal.
Well, yeah, interesting. My birds were, when I looked at them and I thought of them as something called oyster catchers. So the bird that came to my mind was oyster catcher, and they and I don't know why they call it oyster catchers, but maybe because they eat oysters, or mussels and things like that. They've got these long sort of beaks, but I think they are. You know, when I saw them in New Zealand, I know we've got them here, but in New Zealand they were so pretty, you know, and I really fell in love with the little birds. So they're just unique and different. They're just sweet. Mine were oyster catchers.
Okay.
So
I think I can still turn mine into parrot.
Oh, you could. You haven't done the beaks yet, have you? Or have you?
I decided now it's going to be the 2 parrots because they really stay together all their life, and they bring all the different colors, which is going to be my theme for the next year. From the goddess of unity, bringing all different colors. So parrots, perfect. Perfect.
And they are beautiful. They are beautiful. The macaws are just stunning, 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 stunning birds. Oh, I'm looking forward to seeing them.
Well, I actually finished it yesterday. Like, I don't even know whether I can still embroider it because it's a closed womb pouch. But let's see. Maybe it's just my intention that those are now the parrots. Like, And I would like to
do the prayer?
to put exactly. I just telepathy. I thought like I would like to opening the space for the wise one. May all beings have happiness and the cause of happiness. May all beings remain free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all beings remain connected to sacred joy and happiness that is totally free from sorrow. May all beings come to rest in feeling of security and peace. May all beings be happy, content, and fulfilled. And so be it. Blagadaru, many blessings.
Blessings to you and everyone else.
And everybody else.
I just did this little screenshot of you there.
It's a world prayer.
I just thought the candle was doing so beautifully but it looked such a pretty picture. So
And I
have
can see
some
the
of that.
flame here next to it in indigo. Can you see?
Yes, beautiful. Yeah.
A second
Yes, let
flame
me do
right
that.
next
Yes.
to it.
I know. Isn't that amazing?
Looks beautiful, like the all-seeing eye. Seeing
Exactly.
all the colors
Watched.
from the whole world reflected in the flame.
Yes. Beautiful.
With our essence, the light of our essence in the center. Ah, yeah, here we go. And we have got the priestess.
And the cards. Yes.
We've already got the priestess of air and the oracle for today. The holy mountain.
Ooh. Oh, wow. That is amazing.
Which for me
That is
always is the
amazing.
sacred mountain Beluga in Siberia, where I've been. But it's said to be Shambhala
Yes.
of Belovodia. For me, this is Beluga. And I dream, of course, to live by my ancestral mountains in Almaty, Kazakhstan. Alatau Mountains, they are in Kazakhstan. There's something so special about mountains.
Beautiful. I always go to the mountains. I prefer the mountains to the water. But yeah, it is something. And it looks like two colors gold and two circles, three circles actually, but certainly two big blue circle and the red and the golden circle.
And there are actually different moons. They're going around. There are different cyclical moons.
Right.
Above
Okay.
the sun.
So, and what's the goal? Oh, the sun.
And that's the big sun, yes. And there's a little human there on the top. Very small, a little man or woman, whatever. Very nice.
Very nice.
And I always dream to live by the mountains eventually, when I like really set down the roots and
Beautiful. There is something about when you go and you walk up the top of a hill and you get to the top and you've had a hard walk and the wind is going, because generally this wind always lands on the mountain. It's very seldom that you have wind. There is this real feeling of being close to something. Yeah, close to God, close to whatever is there. Yeah, the energy of the earth. It's like where the energy of the earth leaves, and meets the sky for it to sort of feel, it's to kiss and touch in a way. I know it's touching all the time, but there's kind of peaks or areas that seem to be the but what I wanted to tell you, and I don't know whether you were aware, and I was listening to one of our astronauts that had gone up to the space center today, and he was just talking about, apparently they all of the European space people come down in Kazakhstan.
Yes, I knew that. Yes. And it's the main base for the astronauts.
Yeah. I didn't know that. And so what was really interesting is that as they come out, the farmers are there giving them apples because Kazakhstan is well known for apples. And I know you planted an apple tree, if I remember correctly.
Well, apples are said to come even from my town, because the totem, the emblem of my city where I'm born and I lived the first 9 years of my life. It's called Alma Ata, the original Kazakh word, and it's the apple of the grandfather. So you see everywhere this golden apples, like as a totem there, like, and it is said like there are like almost 200 sorts of apples, and honestly, over 180 apples are said to have originated from there. So that's why it's very special, and that's why I love apples, and that's why I planted an apple tree in my dad's garden, because this is exactly the grandfather's apple for the birth of my of Semi.
And I've seen pictures of that, because those trees look so good. That apple tree looks so gorgeous. And I think you just recently picked a whole lot of apples. But
yes,
it was
when
just
I
so
visited my dad.
Yeah. So, but what was really interesting is he said those apples, just a lot of the apples that they were given just had smelt like all the different fruits. So they had so many different flavors in those apples.
Yes.
So I thought about that, and I thought, I had to tell you, I have to remember, otherwise if I forgot, I would have been annoyed. Because it was, yes, and you know how you hear something, you hear Cass saying, Erica, I've got to listen that extra bit harder.
Thank you.
So I was just...
Thank you.
I think that's what we do, don't we? As soon as you know someone's from somewhere and you've got an attachment, you go, I wonder, okay, I'll listen. And I want to tell them, because I've heard this, I've shared it. So yeah, that came up. But and it just immediately brought such a nice,
the apple is such
really felt
a fruit of wisdom, because we are speaking about the wise one. The apple is like the Taurus. It's the Taurus symbol. It combines co-creation between the yin and yang. The way it's shaped and the different seeds are like in the yin and yang symbol. So it's a potent symbol of a lot of wisdom, and of course connected with the different stories to the life tree, and of course in the Bible with the Eve eating the apple, where it is said a lot of hidden knowledge, because there's a lot of interpretation from the wisdom school, like at the Sophia wisdom schools, who said like it was the woman who actually, it was good she followed her desire, and it was good she tasted the wisdom, and she actually was able then to speak with the snake and everything. There's a lot of hidden, especially feminine wisdom, which has been of course like put underneath, like it's this hidden wisdom, because there's a lot of negative shadow side coming with the monotheistic religions, which have started to suppress the feminine wisdom. And the apple carries a very potent feminine wisdom. It also looks like the ovaries of a woman, like a womb as well. And I will share a picture with you, which is such a fantastic picture, which really shows the womb, the ovaries like an apple, and the two snakes coming from the sides, like standing from the women.
That would be great.
For the feminine, the masculine, and it's so much secret symbolism in this one picture. And like, look what happens. Like you share one thing, the apple, and it's like, oh, I like my mind. Do. It's like, oh my God. A lot of wisdom around this apple, for sure. Yeah, and what it represents.
So it makes sense that the European Union would, that they would use Kazakhstan as the place to do something that actually is so collaborative.
Yeah, and they've got a base there for many, many years, because during the Cold War, obviously Kazakhstan was part of the former Soviet Union. They've got this furthest developed, how do you say, the base, the center for the astronaut center, because Kazakhstan is so massive. has been used for all different things, and also not the very nice things, because they've tested a lot of the how's it called,
the atomic stuff,
atomic stuff.
Yeah.
Yes. And a lot of
Well,
people
it's got a very
have got cancer and everything through all of that, but this is not in the news. Yeah. But the astronaut base in Kazakhstan is very well known, very far advanced. It's in the former Soviet Union, the major base.
Yeah.
Yeah. And during the Cold War, the Americans and the Soviets, they were always competing. Who is the most developed, isn't it? Who is going to land first on the moon?
Yeah, they were.
And I will draw a rune to kind of align our circle. Isa or Isa.
Oh, it's straight line almost.
Yes, it stands for the ice particle, for the I, for the identity. And
all right, yeah.
Some people say like this is like the ego, like then in the negative view of it, like when you stand still and don't want to be flexible with an ongoing development of your personality.
Right.
But seeing in a positive way, it stands for our physical manifestation here on earth. We all build an identity. We all come here for purpose to develop it, yeah, through our physical existence. We cannot do without an identity. Yeah.
And I'm just looking at my two eyes from my thingamajig. Can you see it? It's two eyes.
Yes, the all-seeing eyes.
So it just attracts attention. But you know, we need to have the eye, because the eye gives us desire. The eye is synonymous with our physical body.
Yeah.
You know, part of the universe learning to become conscious required that we experienced, and so that eye is really important. It's just when the eye holds us in that state of solidity that is the problem.
Absolutely, and I think that goes so well together. This is like, for me, the mountain. I have got a card actually of the mastery, which is a woman on the mountain top. Because this is the mastery in our lifetime to incorporate all the different aspects and the shadows and the strengths and the weaknesses of our identity, of our physical selves. And when we achieve this mastership, then we are closest to the spirit. Yeah. And of course, we are always of the spirit. I mean, the spirit breathes through us. So we are never disconnected. But we came here to fulfill a certain destiny. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And that therefore we do need an identity, a life's purpose. For me, a life's purpose is like a lived and embodied soul incarnation.
I didn't hear that because it went a little bit froze. And you said your purpose, life purpose is?
Yeah, to me, a life purpose, identity is an incarnated and embodied soul imprint. Why we came here? We come here as souls to embody our certain identity, a purpose, a life purpose. And when we do that, then we are on the top of a mountain. Then we achieved mastery of our identity.
Yeah.
And of course, the allies like the ravens can help us. Through the sometimes difficult parts in our life where we cannot see the wisdom.
Through the illusion.
Yeah. And there are quite a lot of it, isn't it? Illusions. So I will do the raven again on the white background, because ravens used to be white. Did you know that?
No, I didn't know that.
In Old Norse
What made them go
mythology,
black?
they were always white, but because they were always sent on human earth, like by Odin, because they are the two wise ravens on Hugin and Munin on Odin's shoulder. And they were always sent out to bring messages between worlds. And because we humans tend to have so many shadows, they received the black color from carrying the shadows of the humans.
All right.
And that's how they turned black. But really, originally they were white.
I didn't realize that.
Yeah, many people don't know that.
I mean, it's interesting because I also know that things like carrots were originally not yellow.
Yes.
So there are things that had an original color which we changed because of William of Orange.
It's the way how we change if we are not in resonance.
Yeah, change. Just trying to work out.
That's how she looks, the raven.
Yeah.
Our last circle with the birds today.
What about the bird? Sorry.
Our last circle with the birds today.
Oh, right. So after that, we've got some other ones. My light is going on and off today, so I don't know why it's doing that. I'm hoping every time I keep doing this, I think it loses. I don't know whether it's from my computer because I've got it attached into my computer, whether the computer power is going a little lower and it disconnects. I think that's probably what's happening.
Okay. Well, I only hope that my computer's going to last until next week, until I ordered a new box, because I don't like those interruptions at all.
It'll last.
And I mean, it's an old box. I've got the box around 3 years, and I usually last like max 2 years. So I think once the box being replaced, it should be back to normal and even faster connection than before.
Well, things have moved on so much, even 3 years, so exponential, the growth in computers. I'm going to put this light on and maybe it'll make a difference. If that light, so that, I thought that light was on, but whether it make a difference too, coming from this direction. So I see.
And speaking about the wise one, yesterday and today, I'm writing the wise quotes. I'm looking for wise quotes for the intercultural calendar I'm working on, because they have got like weekly wise quotes. So this is kind of very much relevant with the wise one. And speaking of Kazakhstan, because we have to go straight to our painting class, a new project starts at the moment. And I like to paint something about Kazakh men, because I like to attract a man from Kazakhstan. Ideally, who is already sharing this wisdom of the embroidery or like this old traditional Kazakh culture. Maybe who has already got land there. That would be perfect. So I've been watching Kazakh movies recently and looking at this beautiful Kazakh man. Yeah, beautiful. The garments and has got such long history there. The embroidery and the whole different costumes, and because it's like the nomad culture really. The Kazakhs, similar to Mongols, nomads. And which is also not very known, they've got a very long tradition of women warriors as well.
Oh, I didn't know about that.
There are even documentaries about that. Very strong tradition. There's one popular movie, it's just 2 years old, which demonstrates that, like how the women were also fighting as warriors with men. Very interesting.
So a totally different way of interacting within the culture.
Yeah. And speaking of birds, also very long tradition are the eagle hunters, the eagle carriers. It's actually a Kazakh tradition.
I've never heard of that.
And where I learned Kazakh style embroidery is in Mongolia, but this is a certain Kazakh tribe living in the Altai Mountains of Mongolia, because the Altai Mountains cross 4 countries: Mongolia, Kazakhstan, Siberia, and a little bit of, I think, Tibet. Yeah. So very big mountain range. And in the Mongolian Altai part, this is where the oldest embroidery crafts come from by Kazakh people. And this is the same tribe which has got the longest tradition of living with eagles. And 2 years ago, there was a documentary, a movie about a girl who is able to speak with eagles, and she lives with the eagles. A very fascinating movie. And it's based on a real story. This girl became really popular. She's like 12 years old, and yeah, amazing, really amazing. How they literally live with them, and they can really speak the language of the eagles,
of the bird.
Yeah, but especially the eagles. This is so fascinating. It's a very long tradition.
So what do they do? Do they go and live close beside them, or do they have the eagles coming and living?
Well, they are nomads. They are nomads. They live in yurts, and so they live already in the wild. And it's a long tradition that when they're about 6 or 7, they're given an eagle, or the eagle comes to them. You know, they have got a ritual where they connect with an eagle, and the eagle chooses the person. Yeah.
Oh wow.
in most cases, these are boys, but also girls. Like this documentary has shown that it's also girls who can do that. Yeah, so they are not discriminatory in that way at all. And many people don't know that, because especially with this stupid movie Borat, the country Kazakhstan got such a bad reputation that like they have got no culture at all. But if you really start researching it, they have got such a long culture. Like Europe was nothing, and they were already like this whole Turkish Empire, Ottoman Empire, yeah,
Ottoman
and then the
Empire, yeah.
Mongol Empire. They were far more advanced, yeah, to us. And so they live close by in nature anyway, and then this eagle chooses them. And until they turn teenagers, it's an initiation into becoming, like what you said at the beginning, like a page, or like this, like a teenager. Yeah, it's like an important rite of passage. And I think it's so beautiful that this eagle stands with them like for about 6 to 7 years, and then it's a rite of passage where they can let the eagle free, yeah, and the eagle chooses whether it goes into freedom or whether it's gonna stay, yeah, and in the most cases the eagle returns. And this is a form like for the teenager, grown-up girl or grown-up boy, that they are now ready to face the world, like to go and face anything in the world, because they have mastered the language of the eagle.
Of the eagle.
Mm. Very fascinating. And since I'm planning to do a documentary next year, it's like my story unfolding.
Yeah.
People who know my story maybe already, or who don't, like I did a crowdfunding campaign to return back to my ancestral land after 30 years. It was in 2017. And now I wrote a book, and what is emerging now is like to really opening it up even more. It's like it was coming back to my roots through this embroidery with this towel here, my life's towel. And now it's like emerging, like doing a crowdfunding campaign and do a documentary about a traveling tapestry, which is of course aligned with this idea of weaving a new earth. And it's like a traveling life's tapestry, and an invitation for all different cultures to bring back their symbolism, their style of embroidery. And it's like weaving, literally weaving then a life's tapestry. But I would like to start it back in my country, because that's where I like experienced such
where it all started.
reconnection, you know. That's where it all started, exactly at the root. And then start to do a crowdfunding campaign for everybody around the world to add their piece to this traveling tapestry. And I've already researched, like there's one female filmmaker. She's very popular. She did the movie Mongol, which is an amazing movie. 2008 and was nominated for Oscars for the best international movie.
Yeah, I think I've seen that. Yeah.
Oh, you've even seen that? This amazing movie. And she lives in Holland, actually. So my plan for the
Yeah.
new year is to do also like a proposal, like very similar to the crowdfunding campaign. What you do is a little video and
Yeah.
writing down your
Yeah.
proposal idea and to send it to her or to other filmmakers who would be interested to do a documentary like that. And it's not just a finished documentary.
Well,
It's
I think it would work, because I think that right now the dream is really powerful. And certainly I think, we're now at a time where we want to bring everybody together. So it makes perfect sense. And, this is really your blossoming, that's your dream, to bring all women together and weave our divine golden genius.
exactly. And not even all women, because it's also open to men. It's more about bringing all different
Yeah.
cultural threads which have been missing and gone
Yeah.
underground to the surface. Yeah, and so literally
Yeah.
weaving a new like integral tapestry, like this goddess of unity. She has got all the colors, and I'm just imagining like this towel here, like tapestry, like with all different threads around the world. As yeah, because
Yeah.
it has got space for everything. Yeah. Yeah. So that's my idea. And I kind of like
I
wrote the
think
summary already, and the movie is like a continuation of my story, back to the roots, and then now opening the wings, because I also imagine always like a flying tapestry, like in this fairy tale of Aladdin. He's also flying. Yeah. Speaking about the magic,
yeah.
once you've got strong roots, which I feel my biggest wealth are my different cultural roots and the ancestral wisdom. And then you're opening yourself up to it, and then you fly. Because there are no limitations, no boundaries.
You can go where you like. And I think that's the real key of having your raven, is that it is about being boundaryless.
Yes, exactly. Being boundaries without boundaries, limitless. That's true. That's where the raven is very
That's
important
why she's there. Absolutely.
ally and helper. Yeah.
Time has gone so quickly already. We are already on nearly 4 o'clock for you.
Yeah, time flies. Speaking of having wings.
It definitely does.
So what is alive for you at the moment?
I think I'm still in a space where I'm just looking and exploring and thinking about how, as you talk about in your sense of how, of weaving things together, I'm also thinking in how, looking more at how everything is connected. So the web, the web of things. So really looking at, in the idea of, I'm interested in the Kabbalah, but I'm more interested in how does it all connect to the weird. So that's where my kind of real desire is, wanting to know the essence of why something works and why something doesn't work. Yeah. So for me, it's not like it's not being a scientist in the purest sense, because I think when you're looking at essence, you're trying to apply universal laws to which is kind of not logical,
Mhm.
but they are. they are so deep within us, and they are, that when people realized a long time ago that meditation works, but for a long time people didn't believe it. Yeah. But the essence of why it works, yes, we're getting the tangibility now with neuroscience, but there's more. There's still more that's there, and I'm guessing, I'm aware, I'm sort of really thinking about that as my, yeah, I always think that I'm here to bring those two things together in the same way that you are doing it through weaving. But mine is looking more through the lens of religions, or of so try to break down, show the threads across them rather than the differences, if that makes sense. I'm really interested in those kinds of things. So I've been thinking more on that, and that's sort of current in my mind. So like when I think about the I guess so the tree of life, but there's also the well that the three knowns are. I'm looking at that, the combinations between those two and how they actually overlay and they're the same wisdom, just differently said. Yeah. So that's where I kind of thinking a lot about. And birds are always messengers.
Yes.
For me, when I see a bird, I'm often thinking about messages. And today, when I was taking my walk up the to go to the heath, I took pictures. I'm going to put it on Facebook soon. But I was going up, and I turned and I looked down, and I actually just had thought, what makes women connect so to symbols is our ability to feel, and we're evolved to do this, and the feeling is what gives the highest resonance, and that what makes us perfect for doing what we do. And as I was thinking this thought, I looked down to the ground, and there was a heart. And I thought, wow, okay, that is just, that means I've got to talk and be more aware and speak more about this resonance, which is the heart. And the heart is what allows women to be very powerful, because we have that ability to feel with all of us, fully embodied, really. And that's our power. Our power is that we have that full embodied ability to do that. So yeah, that was that's kind of what's sitting in my mind right now. And I've been thinking about that.
Yeah. So potent. And like you say, emotions, like for me, they are so flexible. Like it's like this deep well of endless wisdom in the emotions. And for me, like there are different portals, not just the heart. I mean, my Tantra teacher, she always speaks about this Trinity, like the 3 points, like so the womb, the sacral area, the heart, and the throat. And if you connect this, you've got this infinity sign again, like meeting in the center of the heart, but you cannot leave out the womb, the whole womb area, and also like the throat and the third eye. Like three main portals. There are even more, like, but those are the 3 ones.
Oh yeah.
And it's this integrative approach again, like bringing as many as possible, like awarenesses to the table, to see with as many eyes, as many senses as possible. And in that way, the emotions bring, of course, much more wisdom than just the limited mind. Yeah, it's 4 o'clock already.
I
They're
know
like
it goes so fast.
some wise short words, like in 2 or 3 words or something, which comes up to you, like closing lines.
So so just like with the page, be aware, have a lightness of being as thoughts come in, play with them, and just let them settle in a beautiful way, and allow them to not be heavy. Look at them, see them, and experience them in a different way. So for me, that's what I think would be a nice a nice way to start interacting with words, because so often they can be so heavy. But just be like the page, just go, oh, a new word, oh, that'd be interesting. I wonder.
Mm-hmm.
And for you, as you go and paint?
Well, for me, like with this raven, the wise one is like the closing words are like true wisdom is in the unknown, is in the in between.
Mm,
This is the weird, which is like most of our existence, 99%. We don't know it, but it's still there. And this is where the true
yeah.
wisdom lies. This is outside of the mind. This is also outside of our emotions. This is outside of our egos, our identities, like outside of everything which we can comprehend. So this is the unknown. Yeah, so thank you everybody who has been listening, watching, also
Yeah.
maybe in your own time at a later point. Just thank you for being on the thread together with us. I'm wishing you
Yes.
a wonderful rest of Saturday and see you tomorrow.
Yes, and I wonder how, and we're really looking forward to seeing your Bereginis and your beautiful raven of wisdom.
Mm.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I'm looking forward to seeing what your seductresses are. Hopefully, to see you soon. And I want to see your wisdom, because I know that you will have created a whole new one as you've evolved. From the first time you did that, when did you do these Bereginis? When did you actually do them?
I don't understand the question.
When did you create the Bereginis? When did you first start
My
doing
first
the
ones,
Beregini journey?
that was after I embroidered my dress to have something very easy and tangible to work with. I did my dress in 2018. So in 2018, 2 years ago. Yeah.
So things have shifted for you since then.
Yeah. Yeah. Big time. I mean, I started to do them intuitive readings like with the Bereginis, and for me, they are really alive. Like from something which for me was very big, like doing these big projects like the towel and the dress, and then making it biteable size, like the little Bereginis
Each
to
one, yes.
to pass it on to others. And to me, it's really now like this traveling or flying tapestry of wisdom as an invitation. Yeah, add your own color, add your own flavor to this tapestry. Yeah, very interesting. And it's like really like the cycle like of the infinity eight. It goes inside myself where I connect with them, find my own
Yeah.
expression, and then it's going out again, like an invitation for everybody else to find their own like creative expression.
Yeah.
And it's like really like And then it's for each person as well, going inside, what is the Beregini for me? And then sharing. And it's like this going inside and outside, which is really alive for me nowadays. But 2 years ago, it was still very inner processes. It's like just doing it for myself. What is that for me? And now it's more like really opening up.
Yeah. It is. And that's part of, and I think that's where we're expecting to see other people too. The more they start to do the journals, the more they start to connect with the Bereginis and understand the different attributes, and be creative and recognize what does their unique Beregini bring to the table. So what's your unique wisdom? What is your special wisdom to bring to the earth? And I think that, you know, in amongst the wisdom of the ancestors, but you know, we're all facets. And what's your particular facet? What's that gift that you bring? Your thread of wisdom. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
that's why the community is so potent, because when we are sharing and recognize, like doing one symbol, but sharing it with others, we recognize each other in the other and in our differences, but still coming from one essence of one energy. We're starting from the same source, but always find like the differences, in each other. And through the sharing and this community, it's so much fun to do that.
Well, I know you've got some painting to do.
Yes. So
I'm
thank you very much, everybody.
Enjoy, and thank you for, it's been a lovely time.
Thank you. I look forward to see the resonance, which I'm sure you will send it to us. Have a wonderful rest of Saturday.
Oh, God, I didn't do that. Sorry. I could do that quickly.
But you can send it to us later, because I really have to go now, right?
I can send it. Of course. We don't have to do it right this minute. But I have.
Okay, love, and everybody out there, many blessings.
Yes.
Until we meet
Blessings,
again. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.